Hello everyone. My name is Rajarshi Dhar. I'm an associate director with the security advisory practice at Frost Sullivan. So what we do as a part of our company is we track emerging technologies, business concepts, mega trends. And in this process, we come across companies, one which are established, has been in the industry for the last 20, 30 years. And again, companies which have started to make impact, right? Maybe 10 years, 15 years in the industry, or as new as maybe 2 years. And we track these companies only because to understand their technologies, their products, how they solve the challenges that today's cybersecurity ecosystem or the end users are facing, right? So first, let me welcome Mr. Anirban Mukherji, CEO and founder of miniOrange. To start the conversation for the audience who do not know the cybersecurity market as we know, as we day in and day out, we track it. If you can give the audience to understand a bit about miniOrange, how it started as a bootstrap company, and which we still understand that you are a bootstrap as we speak. But again, you have grown your portfolio. I think they're very unique. Not a lot many companies do that. If you can give an understanding of the company, when was it founded? How have you grown over the years? And what's your roadmap or what's the vision statement that you have over the next 5 years?
So miniOrange started in October 2012, and we started with 4 people from a small office. We were inspired by Apple and Microsoft. That's why the name miniOrange. And over the years, we started with very small products on a marketplace. And suddenly, in 6 months, we saw that the product was being used by somebody in the US. We were very excited about it. We converted that customer. We converted a couple of customers, and we realized that since my experience has always been in identity and access space, although we started with plugins, but then we quickly moved on to creating an identity provider of our own. And then from there, how the identity provisioning and all of that is a hub and spoke problem. So a lot of companies, big companies like Okta and OneLogin, they focus on the hub. So we focused first on the spoke, 5,000 integrations in different products, and then we made the hub later on. Once we secured the identity of, we went on to of an employee or a consumer, we went on to secure the identity of an administrator. And then from there, we realized all of this needs some sort of a governance. So we came up with an IGA product. Now we are moving towards an IDDR product. So now we have a complete suite of identity. So now once the entire identity suite was taken care of, we realized that people wanted trusted devices also. That led us to create our MDM solution. Now people are not only happy with trusted devices, but they also want the data in those devices to not to be leaked. So that led us to create a DLP product and CASB, because all of this makes a good unified endpoint management system. Very recently, we have seen 2 trends. One is AI adoption, and a lot of companies are adopting AI without worrying about the security aspect of it. Now, us being a security company, we created governance and observability modules, which can plug into any AI system, AI agent system, and make the governance easier and better. There's also a wave of privacy going on in India, and because of the recent DPDP law, and we realized that our DLP product is at the core because it has data discovery and classification already. So we created the rest of the modules, which you can see on the board here: cookie and consent management, data discovery classification, ROPA, impact assessment, breach management, DPO screens, and all of that. So we created all that. We have a complete suite now. So since you talked about mega trend, there are 2 trends. The trend in India is to adopt, there's a lot of interest in India for cybersecurity because there are a lot of hacks going on. Consumers are facing a lot of hacks. Plus enterprises are being attacked for ransomware and whatnot. And also there's a bigger trend of privacy because of the compliance law coming into effect a little over a year. And the biggest trend of them all is the AI adoption. A lot of companies want the ROI from AI. miniOrange is adopting AI in the form of better tools for software development and customer support. But a lot of other companies, they are adopting to AI tools to make sure all the workflows are automated. Plus, they also want to replace their cloud services because cloud services are very, very expensive, and because of the latest tools that Anthropic is throwing every now and then, they feel a little unsure and insecure about that. So a lot of companies are moving all their infrastructure on-prem, blocking their doors in anticipation of more attacks.
Perfect. I think you set the context right. And what actually caught my attention is the fact like how you started off as a 4-member company over a decade ago. And now I think you're 800 today.
800 today.
Right. So that really actually requires a guts to actually understand. And I'm sure you have been able to ramp up this only because you understand customers and you have requirements in the market kind of thing. And in fact, I was going through a customer list and I think you have around 25,000 customers globally. And I'm sure this will be a mix of large mid-market type of companies as well as few in the SMB segment.
We are primarily SMB
Okay.
and a little mid-market. We are
Okay.
trying to go enterprise.
Okay.
As we have some enterprise customers, but enterprise customers need a little different kind of a marketing and sales strategy, which we are getting right now. But we are largely SMB and mid-market.
Perfect. Now, that comes to my question is like, now that balance thing, right? You have focus is SMB. Maybe that's, as in today, as we speak, is a major revenue coming in from mid-market is again your strong focus area. But you're looking forward to an enterprise. So how do you think is going to balance this out? Because you have 3 different segments. Everybody has their own set of requirements. The needs are very unique. The challenges are also very unique. How do you think would miniOrange be catering to these 3 set of customers, which are so diverse in nature?
It's both a boon and a big problem. Boon because the SMBs give you a very wide variety of requirements, and anything. We have customers in 60 countries, and by the way, we are 30,000 customers now.
Okay.
On 25,000. So they give us a very good worldwide view of where the market is headed, what are the security requirements. Sitting here, I can tell you what are people in South America, Latin America, Middle East, and US, Europe, India thinking. So that is the good part. The pricing needs of the SMB are different, so we have to cater to that, and the architecture and needs of the enterprise companies are very different, and so are the pricing and all of those concerns are different. So it's a balancing act. We're trying to scale a company with better and better innovative products, and some of the things that so in some these enterprise, for example, I talked to HDFC recently, and they said they not only have they buy from large vendors as well as they have a program for smaller startups as well, and they do that because they have to keep an eye on latest innovation which can help them with the fraud that is happening. Although it's a balancing act from my side, it is a little difficult. The initially what has happened is digital marketing. Digital marketing got me in touch with my 30,000 customers. Right now, for the last 4 years, we are going around the world sponsoring different conferences and setting up booths in those conferences and talking to the customers one-on-one. And then, of course, making partners in different parts of the world, including in India. We have a big push in India right now where we are doing about 3 conferences a week and getting in front of the customers in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, and different parts. So marketing approach is different, and we're trying to basically right now we've gained a lot of revenue from the SMB space, and we are spending in a lot of it is in innovation of new products, and a lot of it is traditional marketing, and also making newer partners. So when partners a couple of years ago, when we would go to a conference, they would say, "Who are you? We've never heard about you." So now I think they are at least recognizing us, and they're getting us in front of their customers. The other thing that is going on in the world is sovereignty is becoming very big.
Correct.
So, Naira Energy, their license was turned off by Microsoft, and most recently, SAP Labs has given them a notice that they will not be serving because of EU sanctions. So it's becoming a major deal in India. A lot of companies have approached me to replace some of their infrastructure with homegrown products, Indian homegrown products, which we provide. So that is again is something in my favor.
That's a great analogy that you brought in, and rather the shift, like Indian companies are looking for Indian grown companies because of a few of the factors which are going against them. But again, anybody in India, I'm sure, if they're looking for, means they would love to have a product meant for, which is global in nature, but again, meant for the Indian market as well. Perfect. Now, let me go and try to analyze your portfolio. It's predominantly what I understand, IAM, CIAM, PAM, IGA. These have been your rockstar products, right? And today you're also focusing on non-human identities, right? Now, where do you see the next big technical or architectural shifts in your product platform in the next 3 to 5 years time? Let's not go very long, maybe 10 years. Cybersecurity is a very fast moving space, but let's see 3 to 5 years, where do you see the technological or the platform changes?
I think there's a big push to go to cloud. I think there may be some reverse migration happening now because of privacy concerns, because of security concerns, because of LLMs of the world getting more powerful to figure out defects and exploit them, vulnerabilities and exploit them. So there might be a big push. So we in miniOrange, we are innovating heavily on-prem, which means an LLM will be on-prem and we will be selling to our customers an appliance which will have an LLM and agents that will be automating their workflows. So, and also agent governance and observability built into the appliance. So that, and I also want to highlight here that when you have an LLM in a box, you're not talking about a large language model. You're talking about a small model, and you have to worry about the accuracy of the model. So then you have to do something about making sure the accuracy of the small model is better. So implementing a reinforcement learning algorithm in there to make sure accuracy is as good as the large language model plus agents into the same box. So our focus is that agentic AI and AI adoption.
So very forward looking, right? You're talking about next gen technologies predominantly to leverage the benefits that each of these technologies actually.
Companies around the world have already adopted AI quite a bit. When you go and talk in your own company, you will realize that there's shadow AI going on.
Correct.
And it's creating a cybersecurity nightmare as well as it's creating a privacy nightmare. All of your data may already be on the cloud. So our products should be ready. When companies realize that there's shadow AI going on, then our products have to be ready to help them out. So that's where.
Correct. One aspect of security I will focus on is platform agnostic, right? So how you at miniOrange is your approach of making authentication or SSO far more platform agnostic, right? Especially when I'm talking about integrating legacy systems, right, which are not standard ones. How do you do that? Because not necessarily every environment will have a standard setup systems, solutions, or protocols, right?
Very good question. I'll give you one specific example. Oracle EBS. It's a great suite from Oracle, and it's used worldwide. And the only SSO possible was through Oracle Access Manager. And we made sure that with the help of Oracle and in some integration, we created our own Oracle EBS SSO suite, which is now heavily adopted because of the better pricing and the certification from Oracle. So we basically we figure out these use cases from around the world, and most of my big customers, they already have Oracle or SAP and all these huge products. They're super popular right now, and people need IAM solutions on top of them, and we basically do the integration. We prioritize them.
Now, I remember IAM when I joined the industry 15, 16 years back. We used to use IAM. Then IAM was still there in some other form. We used to have hardware tokens and all. We used to have that. Now, IAM is not new. So, given that it's not new, there are many players in the market. Now, being at miniOrange, what is your unique differentiation or the USP that makes it so unique against your competitors that's available in the market?
Fantastic. We probably are the 100th vendor of identity and access in the world. But Facebook wasn't the first social media platform, if you remember. How did they gain this traction? How did they become number one? Persistence, extreme ownership, initiative. These are the things that are commonly found in all of my team members. But on a product side, we achieve feature parity. And then we do awesome support, 24/7 support, because of which many of the big players are also listing us in different quadrants, and they're recognizing us because customers are themselves giving them feedback. And it's a constant struggle. So we have achieved feature parity with the leaders in the world in the IAM space, and we gave excellent support to them, which is non-existent in the world. The major reason I'm able to do that is because all of my team members are working with me for more than a decade now. You go and talk to anybody in the world, any vendor in the world, their original team is all gone. They raise money or they invest, they go public, and the leadership team dumps their stock and goes away. What happens to the product teams and what happens to the customers? They're left hanging. It has not happened with us, and that's why we are able to get all this done. As long as the original team is there, that's how we can get quality stuff to the customers, as well as we can offer great careers to the engineers.
Fantastic. And I really appreciate how you value the fact that old people, long timers within your organization are going to drive business because they have the skin in the game, right? And until and unless you have the skin in the game, I don't think you would understand how to run the business overall. Great perspective. And since we're talking about markets, right, I would like to understand from a miniOrange standpoint, what are the key markets that you have? What are the industry verticals that you predominantly focus on? And in the geographics lens, how does India actually fit into the entire scheme of things?
India is the fastest growing market for miniOrange. We have a lot of focus. We are an Indian company. We are headquartered in India. We proudly say that Jan Gan Man Bajwa Denge is our nara. So it not only applies to sports, but also applies to cybersecurity. And we want to be there with the world's best Israeli companies and American companies. And India is a big market focus. And Indian customers are treating us very nicely because they don't find the kind of depth we provide, they don't find in any other vendor. The kind of stuff I can show you on a product demo I can give on AI governance and observability, nobody's even close to that. The kind of depth I can show on data privacy, nobody's close to that. And we are already adopted by governments of in the Middle East and Indian government as well, and different state governments are buying our products. So as far as sectors go, I mean, BFSI is adopting us, government is adopting us, and we are kind of sector agnostic. I mean, it's not. There's a lot of competition, like you already pointed out. You're probably the 100th vendor. Even in India, there are 4-5 vendors who are very good, and you compete with them, and based on merit, sometimes the customers chooses them versus us. Our job is to make sure that the customers choose us, and then they use the product, and if they pay a renewal next year, then I know that they like us. Not before then. So before then, I'd feel like, I have to be on my toes. And again, even after you've converted a customer, we are on our toes because every quarter we have to give them value so that they feel like, yes, it is worth renewing next year. So
value creation part, I really appreciate that thing. Now, being an Indian company, and I normally do this conversation with all Indian founders, like giving back to the society, right? There are a lot of schemes that companies run in terms of giving back to the people, right, where you have grown actually. If you can help me understand, how is miniOrange, the kind of CSR activities that you have, the kind of giving back to the society, predominantly in India, the things that you have really initiated as a company?
I'm an ex-national level swimmer. I'm also 2017 Ironman. I'm in triathlon. And I wanted to represent the country. I could not because I did not take the right decision. So now I run a sports academy, and I have about 75 athletes from around India, 15 from the Indian Army who are training with me at Pune, and we have another camp in Kuti. We have a large program with them, and they are winning different medals at the national level, and they're also representing the country at the international level today. The goal is Jan Gan Man Bajwa Denge, which is win the Olympic gold and bring laurels for the country. In Olympics, we are trying to do better, but we are not there yet. So that is one way I feel it very well aligns with my personal goals, because I always want to fund stuff for people who are meritorious more than anything else. So this is one thing we do. The other thing we do is COVID happened in between. So I realized that my staff needed some help from medical professionals. So we hired some professionals but then COVID went away and I had to keep them busy. So I thought, let's create a hospital. So now we have a hospital in my mother's name, in which 200 patients are treated every day. And we have our own lab for testing. We have our doctors, we have free medicine. 200 patients are walking in every day. And we are very popular around Pune. And all of it is for free. So the goal is free healthcare for the poor. That has given me some hint about metabolic disorder reversal. So I run a program myself. I'm 50 plus, so I run a program where different people from around the world have joined, and I give them tips on what they should eat, how frequently they should eat, and without medicine, how you can reverse insulin resistance. So that is one thing. And we have a legal team. They'd help us with a lot of agreements from customers around the world, but they also have a lot of time. So we have tied up with the DLSA in Pune, and they help under trial prisoners deal with their issues. And they have gotten out about 100 prisoners out who already had bail but had no money to come out from the system. And we also have run a program where, so we have a cafeteria for our employees. And you know what happens in the cafeteria when 800 breakfast, lunch and dinner, a lot of food is wasted. So we started donating food. Then we realized, why don't we make it formal? So now we are feeding 800 people a day.
Excellent. Means I really that catches my conversation. I think this CSR activity, going to the roots, right? And it's all it matters, right? How do you serve the society where we are building business all around, right? Now, finally,
one quick thing.
Yeah.
Serving the society, I think, like I said, I'm a big believer in meritocracy. You saw my security guard there. His daughter works in my accounting.
Oh, great.
So we do that also. So everybody, we have to give back to the local community also. So she joined because her father was my PSO, and she worked in the accounting. She got married. Now she has a baby. She's taking a little break. But we have so many examples of this. Even my athletes who are now no longer competing at that level, they join my company as testers or videographers or content. So we are trying to make sure that our aim is to make sure we give miniOrange to the next generation, and so that they can continue with that journey. So there's no hurry.
Excellent. So before we wrap up this conversation, let me have this final question. You have been in this industry for multiple decades now, right? You have seen how security has changed. And it's really difficult to predict what will happen maybe 10, 15 years from now. So let me be more realistic. What do you think, what is your one prediction that you think that will transform the security industry in maybe 5 years from now?
I think there's a lot of, I think that India is going to become the backbone of AI and cybersecurity of the world. The reason is we have the right intent. You saw the India AI Summit. A lot of youngsters set up booths there. The American rhetoric has been more towards developing the LLMs and the brain of the entire system. But how will that benefit? How will that will benefit the entire world, humans and animals and environment and the space exploration, all that? I think India has a major role to play in there, and we not only have the right intent, we have done the right messaging through the India AI Summit. Plus, we have also have the right kind of software ecosystem in place. We have so many software engineers who are so dynamic, and world leaders are investing in India right now to tap that talent. So I feel that India will take AI and cybersecurity to the world, and we become the backbone. Like manufacturing has happened, like China has made its name in manufacturing. India is going to make its name in AI and cybersecurity, and that is going to have huge ramifications for the regions, because India's main GDP contribution, I think software has a major part, but AI and cybersecurity will have a much major role. So it will have a major ramification for the world.
Perfect. So to summarize the conversation, right? So we started off the conversation as to how miniOrange was founded as a small company. Then it has grown to become a global company. I must say it is an Indian company with a global outlook, right? Meant for the world, as well as for the Indian market. And again, you focused on innovation, R&D, AI, how it's transforming lives, how it's transforming businesses, how you used to work maybe 10 years back, and you also talked about the market landscape, how miniOrange is focusing on. So, in a nutshell, I would definitely understand miniOrange, or rather, let me categorize miniOrange as one of the fastest growing bootstrapped companies in India, which are very focused. Started off with identity services. Now you're expanding that portfolio, while that identity still remains the core offering of your total portfolio. But again, nice to have a candid conversation with you, Mr. Mukherjee. Thank you so much.